Baptism is. Baptism is done for the forgiveness of sins. Acts 2:38.
Trust in the Lord with all your hearts, and lean not into your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path.
Agnostic first appeared in 1869, possibly coined by the English biologist Thomas Henry Huxley, and was formed from the Greek agnōstos, meaning unknown, unknowable.
This is the Athens that Paul visited in about 50 AD. As you'll recall, Paul was forced to flee a mob in Berea, and he was escorted here to Athens by some of the new Berean Christians. Paul was instructed to wait here in the city until Silas and Timothy could join him. According to chapter 17 of Acts, here's what happened next. While Paul was waiting in Athens, he was greatly distressed to see that the city was full of idols. So he reasoned in the synagogue with both Jews and God-fearing Greeks, as well as in the marketplace day by day with those who happened to be there. A group of Epicurean and Stoic philosophers began to debate with him. Some of them asked, "What is this babbler trying to say?" Others remarked, "He seems to be advocating foreign gods." They said this because Paul was preaching the good news about Jesus and the resurrection. Acts 17:16 through 18.
Paul caught the attention of the local philosophers and became an instant curiosity in the city. They asked Paul to come before the Council of the Areopagus and explain his new way of thinking. They said, "You were bringing some strange ideas to our ears, and we would like to know what they mean." Acts 17:20. The Areopagus of Athens, also known as Mars Hill, is located just northwest of the Acropolis. Basically, it's a small mountain of marble where people met. When Paul was in Athens, the Areopagus had become a popular gathering place for people to discuss and debate ideas. The Council of the Areopagus consisted of 100 members, including philosophers, scholars, and former officials of Athens.
According to Acts chapter 17, it was here at the Areopagus that Paul engaged the professional thinkers of Athens. Paul very wisely acknowledged the broad spiritual curiosity of the Athenians, which provided a natural opening for a conversation about God. People of Athens, I see that in every way you are very religious. For as I walked around and looked carefully at your objects of worship, I even found an altar with this inscription, "To an unknown God." So you are ignorant of the very thing you worship, and this is what I am going to proclaim to you.
In ancient Greece, the people worshipped a god called agnōstos theos, unknown God. This is the root foundation of how agnostics, people who may or may not believe in God, began. Paul was angered as he entered the city of Athens because the people gave homage to a lot of idols. When Paul came in their midst, they mocked him. The Epicurean and Stoic philosophers called him an idol babbler. They called his teaching strange because he was preaching a gospel they had not heard before. The Greeks took Paul to Areopagus, the hill of Ares, the Greek god of war, also known as Mars Hill, for him to teach. They were not interested in Paul's God. They just wanted to hear something new. They were intellectually motivated. Their brains were their gods. They had so much knowledge that they had run out of things to learn. This is how an intellectual spirit operates. Paul busted their bubbles by telling them that they were ignorantly worshiping idols and that they were religiously superstitious. Today, people who are oblivious to things of God worship at political, business, entertainment, and sports arenas, which are our modern-day Mars Hills. If you are a true worshiper of God, you are labeled as strange and crazy.
The God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of heaven and earth, and does not live in temples built by human hands, and he is not served by human hands, as if he needed anything. Rather, he himself gives everyone life and breath and everything else. Acts 17:22 through 25.
The next day, John saw Jesus coming toward him and said, "Behold, the Lamb of God, who takes away the sins of the world."
Baptism. Then what? Baptism is a burial in water for accountable beings unto the remission of sins, for salvation, to get into Christ, to become a new creature, to get into the one body. Then, walk in the new life, study and grow, become a servant of righteousness, keep self pure, be an example, have faith in God, follow Jesus, put first things first, resist temptation, be faithful, and be fruitful.